Welcome back to New York State Bridge Authority meeting. We came out of a client privilege meeting. We introduced everybody that was here. We were going to start our normal meeting, our June 19th meeting, with the adoption of the annual and regular board minutes in May 20th.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, roll call. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Secondly, with administration, we have no reports, correct?
Nope.
Third, Mr. Monroe, engineering and maintenance.
How are you?
How are you tonight?
Good.
That's good to hear.
So we made the local press this week. The all about town history of the Mid-Hudson Bridge. So I can read that. People want to.
I thought you were talking about the elevator.
Read some. Now they're still struggling to bring that online.
I noticed.
So that'll be all we talk about.
Is it online?
No.
Well, it's not online. That's the problem.
You can
It's,
see it, you can look at it.
They had a little breakdown a few weeks ago, and they're trying to get the bugs out. So first up on our agenda is a request from our design consultant, Amanda Whitney, on the Newburgh Deck project. As we explained in the memo, there were a number of design issues the contractor requested changes on. For instance, we were going to put the deck in 4 panels across the width. In the original design, the contractor selected to put it in double wide, so there's only 2 panels to set. That initiated a number of changes that had to be addressed. We expect to save some money on that operation because there'll be less splices, less seams between the panels, which use a relatively expensive rapid setting mortar. And then of course there was the issue to review the cracking. So we did a lot of work on alternate mix designs, field trips to the casting, precast yard down in Pennsylvania. The original approved budget for the design support services was just over $1 million. So this request is for an additional $150,152 to complete the work, which will run through the end of next year. It's about 6.5%.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? If not, roll call. All in favor say aye.
Thank you. Next up, the Plaza and Central servers. They're at least 7 years old now. We had a larger scope in our capital program for this work planned last fall when you guys reviewed our capital budget. But instead of changing over the operating system and looking over everything, our Toltecs, and we had a discussion with anybody that knows anything about computers and operating systems and the toll system, agreed that maybe we should just replace the hardware and keep the operating system as it is, rather than to migrate to a Linux and all the changes and problems that might stem from a larger change like that. So we'd like to just buy new IBM servers directly through the OGS contract. So we're asking for approval of a budget of $44,000 to upgrade those
So moved.
servers.
Second. Discussion? Roll call. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Third is our maintenance in-house material for the repainting. We put this out to bid in the contract reporter. We received 3 bids, 2 of them incredibly close, within about $500 of each other. But Ennicon Northeast from Farmingdale, New York was the low bid. So we'd like to award them the supply contract in the amount of $27,067.86.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then our 4th item, we opened bids the other day. Although 7 contractors requested the bid documents, we only got bids turned in from 4. The bid range on the back of the memo is pretty big spread, $1 million for what turned out to be a $680,000 low bid. INOA Slutsky, of course, has worked with us for going on 3 decades or more now. Very reliable and resourceful contractor, so we're very confident we'll be able to complete this work. So we'd like to award this project to him in the amount of $681,031.10.
Move it first, move it, second, Zane,
I
second.
have a comment. In the substructure repairs, I know there's more to it than just that our staff could handle. And what, just in general, I mean, not, what's the difference between
What we can do and what
Yeah.
this project is. Well, on the Kingston-Rhinecliff Bridge, for instance, the damaged concrete is all over. It could be 100 feet off the ground, it could be 200 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
And they gotta get up and chisel out the rotten concrete, form it, get the new concrete in place. So it would probably take our guys 4 or 5 years to do this, and then we'd fall behind on.
I see, it's not
on
just
everything else.
Iron.
Yeah, it's not
structure.
roadway concrete or, close to the ground. These are difficult access points. So,
It's a capacity issue for us to
Sure.
then do other work.
Right. Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, roll call, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Jobs in progress?
yeah, we moved to the second of 4 phases down at Newburgh. Got some noise complaints because now we're working much closer to the residents on the Newburgh side. But we've already got about 300 feet away from where we started, so the noise will get reduced as we continue to work through phase 2. They are expecting to finish up the second phase, which will allow us to put the overlay down sometime towards the end of August. So we're hoping to be able to protect these new panels with the new overlay sometime in September. So we should have good weather for that. Hopefully be able to stay on schedule. So not a lot of other surprises. Paint contract is progressing on schedule, so we'll finish that in the next few months as well.
The weather hasn't been that bad. They've been able to work pretty consistently, haven't they?
Well, now that the painters now that they have their containment up, because they can work in the light rain. The deck replacement guy, once he starts demolishing, he's committed to finishing. So he's had to work in some of these random showers, to put the road back together by morning a couple of times. But yeah, the weather hasn't been too bad. But all the good weather falls on the weekend the last few weeks. But yeah, so far it's not a problem.
Move to accept the jobs in progress report.
Second, then?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, thank you.
Brian, investment?
Good afternoon. Okay, for the May investment report, there were 4 investments in the month of May. The routine debt service, 2 of the maintenance, and 1 in construction for renewal or reinvestment of proceeds. Basically, those investments are reflected in the investment inventory report. Currently, we're sitting at approximately $79 million in the investment in the construction and maintenance reserve funds. Interest yield or effective yield is remaining pretty low. As indicated previously, the vast majority of our investable funds are sitting in maturities that range no more than 3 to 6 months.
Let's accept the investment.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next up, on an annual basis, the authority, in accordance with Section 5.03 of the bond resolution, is required to have a certificate from an authorized officer indicating the required balance in the maintenance reserve fund. For this year, it's $122,938,000. This balance is determined by resolution annually as the amount necessary to enable the authority to comply with the covenant contained in Section 7.12 of the resolution. It represents the March 2014 approved capital program for the years 2014 through 16.
Move, Roger.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, all in favor, say aye. Thank you, Brian. Human Resources, Information Technology. Greg?
Good afternoon.
Just have one item today. This is for a backup server replacement. Our current backup solution is 5 to 7 years old. It consists of several components. We're looking to replace that with a newer technology with higher capacity to handle our ever-growing information store. We looked out on state contract, evaluated a couple of products. Unitrend came in providing the best solution for the authority and the best price at a not to exceed total of $16,000 for the project, and this is being procured off of OGS state contract through a woman-owned business.
Roger?
So moved.
Second. Any questions? Roll call. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Joseph?
You have the executive director's expense report, no expenses this month's report. You have the May 2014 traffic and revenue analysis report. And again, we've seen a reduction in the month of May 2014 on all our facilities, behind where we were last year. So at best, revenues are stagnant, and hopefully some point the year will flatten out until we hit target of what we're looking for 54 million. Easy Pass sales, the other report, we're beginning to see an uptick in Easy Pass sales with the nicer weather and more motorists out there, but like I mentioned last month, I believe we hit a saturation point with the sales overall, as compared to last year. You received a memo from me this month on the substance abuse policy. Carl and I reviewed the substance abuse policy, and there were some conflicts with state and federal regulations as it regards to the policy, talking about the minimum times that we're required to have random testing, as well as some other minor changes. So I've given you the full substance abuse policy originally adopted by the board, and we amended it in this issue of that. I want you to be aware of that. Needs no action by the board.
Any questions regarding that? No? Thank you, Joseph. Next, new business, we have a collective bargaining agreement that's been negotiated for almost, how long?
2 years.
2 years. I'd like to thank our personnel and our employees who worked very hard on this contract. Wayne Ferguson, Bob Russo, Brian Bushnick, Nancy Ritz Sip, John Bellucci, and our attorney Carl Whitback. They put this together in a period of approximately 2 years. It is a 5-year contract with the first 2 years with no increases whatsoever. The union did have a vote on it. It passed 2-1. And after tonight, hopefully the board will accept this and it'll be implemented. So in saying all that, commend everybody for their hard effort. I think it's a very mutual beneficial contract to the employees and to the bridge authority.
Also, just like to recognize the CSEA members who are on the negotiating team on the other side. They worked hard with our members, our staff, and they did a real nice job presenting the information out to the staff and drumming of support to be true.
Mm-hmm. And Roger?
I'd like to move to ratify the collective bargaining agreement.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, roll call. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you, gentlemen and ladies. There again, before we leave this evening, we have a new member to the Bridge Authority. As you very well know, Mr. Moreau is leaving in a short period of time or as a full-time employee. Hopefully he stays on as a part-time. And we are been evaluating an applicant or applicants to take over his position as the chief engineer. We came up with a gentleman by the name of Jeff Wright. And Jeff, will you finally stand up? And I think we're very happy and very lucky to have you part of the Bridge Authority.
Thank
We wish
you,
you
sir.
good luck and hopefully everything works out for you.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thanks.
And Saying that, any other business? If not, our next meeting is July 17th, at 3 o'clock. Nothing else?
Adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, second? All in
Second.
favor, say aye. Thank you.